The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Brett, Maher, Andrew McLeod, thank you very much for jumping on.
Yeah, good to be here.
I guess, yeah, you know, as we were talking before, you know, you guys first came on my radar when, you know, around the time when I first came to Australia, got familiar with football and basketball. And I was originally a fan of, and still am, you know, the Magic, Melbourne team, and West Coast. However, through watching those teams play a lot, I became very familiar with you guys.
Are you saying that so, like, you know, just to rub salt in our wounds because they used to beat us a lot, or?
Well, that's just the way it naturally happened. And look, I know that there's times where, you know, we were discussing, you know, you played the Magic in finals. Was it 90?
98, we played them in the grand final and beat them.
Yeah, you see, so that's rubbing salt.
Which
in
is
my
nice.
wound.
Beat them over there is always good.
Was that because it was best of 3 back then,
Best of
wasn't it?
3, yeah. We surprisingly swept them. We weren't expected to. I think they were like 24-2 on the season.
Yeah.
And as hot a favourites as you could get, but yeah, we just put it together at the right time.
Did you go right?
Oh, I did all right.
And see, again, on the flip, I remember West Coast and the Crows having some pretty good battles. And I'm pretty confident that West Coast would have come out on the bottom of some of those.
I don't like the way you said that, though.
Huh?
Yeah, it was a bit, you know. Nah, they were very good. They had our measure in the middle of 2000s, so 05, 06. As good as a team we were, we just could not beat West Coast. They were that good, and you know they had a plethora of stars in that team.
Yeah.
Unbelievable side.
Because that was that era was the Judd Cousins era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad midfield. Kerr.
Yeah, that's right. Now, debatably, best midfield of all time?
Yeah, definitely in that conversation. I think if you
Brisbane's midfield when they three-peated would have been up there as well.
We've talked about this a bit, haven't we?
Black,
yeah.
And those
The
guys.
Fab Five, they had the Fab Five, but yeah, I think West Coast, you know, like those 3 guys, you know, and some of their other Brawn.
Who was your midfield in back-to-back?
Well, back-to-back. Yeah, we had Rashudo, Goodwin, Bickley, Darren Jarman was in there.
Decent names in there
Sean
as well.
Wren,
Yeah.
Sean Wren, but yeah,
Not
I don't
too
think
shabby.
when you have those guys, they're like, some of those guys are 5, 6-time All-Australians and, you know, Brownlow medalists. We were just a couple of half-backs that basically became midfielders, whereas they were just like genuine stars.
And then, so I guess you guys released a podcast. I think it was May of this year, around that.
Yeah.
And you know, as soon as it was on my radar, I was like, oh wow, you know, you got Brett Maher, you got Andrew McLeod, both from Adelaide. You know, both got rings. I'm pretty sure you've got finals MVPs.
Couple of finals MVPs and
you
a couple over here as well.
Call him Larry.
And you got back-to-back Norm Smith as well. So I'm just like, I get it. Like, I see it. Now, prior to your professional careers, did you guys have a relationship or did you meet through professional sports or after you guys retired, or how did that come about?
Oh, we kind of crossed paths. We did a lot of cross promotions with the 36ers and Crows back in those days. So we crossed paths at some of those, and just Adelaide's pretty small anyway. So we'd kind of met a few times, and then, that friendship kind of just grew from there. At one point, we had the same agent and that as well. So we would go and do certain things together through that agent as well, which worked out pretty good.
Ironically, our 2 eldest kids are born on the same day as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
So we must have done something together that night.
And then
I thought Connor looked a lot like me.
And then, so if you guys have known each other for quite a few years, is what brought podcast about? Like, why did you guys decide to start doing that?
Well, it's probably funny. We've been talking about stuff like this for a little while, and
We're bored.
yeah, a couple of years ago, a couple of years ago now, we were on a trip as a group, family trip. It was Brett's wife's birthday in Bali, and we were over there and we were having this conversation around a podcast with a friend of ours. We might have had a couple of bintangs by then, I reckon. But we it sort of started from there, and then they just kept growing. And every time we tend to get together as a group, well, there's a couple of things that goes on. We play a lot of dominoes and a lot of cards, but then there's always a part where the conversation starts to talk about sport, and like.
We're both pretty competitive.
Yeah.
If you hadn't guessed.
So there's like
everything we do. There's like
So
trying to better the other one. And
talking about your best players, or like putting that together, and then like, okay, you want to have a go. I reckon I can beat you in a shooting contest. That doesn't mean
I can't beat him in a kicking contest, but I'll still have a crack at it.
Table tennis, we have a crack at table tennis, so there's a bit of competition there, and so that sort of probably started it all, and then during the start of the year, when had a bit more time, we just was like, hey, I've got this idea, what do you reckon? And then that was it.
Yeah. Just worked out really good timing-wise with what we're both doing, and obviously with COVID, a lot of things shut down, and there's probably been a fair ramp-up of podcasts everywhere coming on board, but
we're just one of those nuffies.
we thought there was a market for something like us two jumping together and talking about the sports we love, so it's been really good fun.
And then, so tell us a bit, like about the podcast in itself, the title of it, how many episodes you guys have done, what sort of topics you guys have covered in those episodes, that sort of thing.
We're up to our 22nd podcast this week, so 22 weeks worth, and it's mainly we run through kind of a breakdown of the football. Obviously, Andrew has a bit more knowledge in that topic, and I just chip in with some random comments, but that's pretty good fun. And then normally a bit of basketball stuff. At the moment, obviously, there's no NBL going on, but there's the NBA, and we had the Jordan documentary, which was
Gave us good content,
which was really good. And Andrew loves his basketball and that as well. And I think, as we were talking about, you don't even have to be a basketball lover to enjoy that show. Yeah. So we've kind of then cover off on basketball, and then we have a couple of what we try and make entertaining segments, where we have a 20-question segment where our producer comes up with a well-known Australian sports person, and we have 20 questions to try and guess who it is, which...
test the knowledge.
Yeah, I'm coming last in that at the moment, so that's not quite as good fun. And then we have a nuffy segment. So I know back when early days when I was playing, we used to call some people nuffies that couldn't quite grasp concepts. So we have a segment where we pull out 5 nuffies that have kind of come into the media through the course of the week. And
see if they're actually, if
they qualify.
Yeah, they qualify to be a nuffy for the week. It's a bit of fun trying to work through that.
There's a lot of them at the moment, especially. And then what do we do after that? We kind of jump into it's a joke. That's a good segment.
The other thing we try to do is really to put our personal slant on it too. So, relating some stories from the past of how we did things or what things that happened that people, they like to hear some of those stories about, when you were playing and what are those experiences, what did you feel, or some funny stories. So it's always good to be able to do that, because people they remember those moments and times and they can relate to it. So
absolutely,
I think that's a big one, and the fact that, I think we're just a couple of larrigans, what we try to be.
I think the other part we've really enjoyed is we do some stuff on Facebook and social media. We do some little challenges. So we've put a few of them on, and they've been quite entertaining. Probably, there's one where we do the flower challenge. Couple of
paper, rock, scissors.
Paper, rock, scissors. That was quite good fun. So we try and have a bit of fun with it and have a laugh.
And what platforms do people go to find the podcast?
Oh, every platform that basically, that you can get your, you can stream from. So whether that be Spotify, Apple Music, but
YouTube, iHeartRadio, all of those. It's on all of them.
We use Buzzsprout is, where we, I guess, there's our little website there that we have. So we usually put our links up on our Facebook pages and Instagram that people can get through that way. And
then it's the Bunji and Brettster podcast?
Yeah.
It is.
You got to put the good-looking bloke at the front, so Bunji and Brettster.
You guys are competitive, man.
The lesson.
27. Oh, yeah.